It has been one of the shortest Foreign Affairs Council meetings, but I have to say one of the more tense in a more challenging environment. I don't want to exaggerate, but certainly the situation is worrisome wherever you have a look. We had the visit of the new Foreign Affairs Minister of Ukraine with news from Ukraine, but we dedicated to the two most pressing issues for the European Union and with the wider world impact in this week, the Russia war against Ukraine and the very dangerous escalation in the Middle East, I mean Gaza, Lebanon, West Bank, whatever in the region. First, on Russia and Ukraine. For the first time, we were joined by Ukraine's new Foreign Minister, Andriy Sybiha, who substitutes our friend Kuleba. He briefed us about the continuing and intensified Russia escalation on bombing civilian targets with missiles, drones, and glide bombs. It's clear that Russia has been receiving new arms, in particular missiles from Iran. This is what we believe, even if Iranians deny it, but it looks like. In any case, Russian drones and missiles have been continue to approach and in sometimes entering into the European Union member states' space. This is very risky. The Russian drones and missiles are entering and approaching and in some cases borderline entering in our airspace. Russia continues to hamper global food security. There is a long time without talking about food security, but the threat continues. Most recently, they have been hitting a ship transporting Ukrainian grain to Egypt, the Black Sea, in the Romanian economic zone. Not in the territorial waters, but in the Romanian economic zone. A ship transporting grain to Egypt has been hit by the Russian missiles. In the middle of this situation, Ukraine is reacting fully and in line with its right to self-defense, Articles 51 of the United Nations Charter, and needs more than ever our support. On the last days, Ukraine managed to destroy important stockpiles of Russian weapons very deep into Russian territory, in some cases 500 kilometers from the border. And this has been important successes for the Ukrainian army. It was about 2 big stockpiles of ammunition at 500 kilometers of the border, which is certainly an important military capacity. On the other side, unhappily, there is the energy situation. This morning I attended the G7 Plus meeting chaired by Secretary of State Blinken and Ukrainian Foreign Minister, when we discussed about the energy situation in Ukraine. And it's clear that Russia wants to put Ukraine into the dark and the cold. The winter is coming, and following Russia's attacks against energy targets, Ukraine's energy production capacity has been reduced by 2/3. Just imagine, here in New York, or in any European Union member states, losing 2/3 of the energy capacity production. First, on electricity due to the siege of Zaporizhia by the Russian troops. And secondly, due to the last bombings, they lost 9 gigawatts of production capacity. And winter is coming, and we have to support Ukraine, not only providing military capacity, but electricity production capacity. Otherwise, this country will be facing a very hard time in winter. In order to support Ukraine, we have made at the Commission a proposal to raise up to 35 billion euros a loan to support Ukraine, both military and economically. And both things have to be done at the same time. It doesn't make sense to provide with an electricity generator today if it has to be destroyed tomorrow. It's not just destroy and replace. We cannot replace everything being destroyed because it will be an endless process. So we have to provide with electricity generation capacity, with energy production capacity. One member state is taking a power plant and taking it into pieces and sending to Ukraine to be reconstructed inside Ukrainian territory. But at the same time, you have to provide air defense capacity in order to avoid these capacities to being destroyed as soon as they are being put into work. And the call is to support Ukraine from energy and from the military side. And for that we provided this loan, 35 billion. Well, it's a proposal. It's not done. It's a proposal. Sometimes we announce proposals as if they were decisions. The decisions belong to the Council. And the Council will have to take their position by qualified majority in this case. Yes, the situation in the battlefield, it's complicated, but Russia is still trying to fight at different fronts, especially in the one opened with success by the Ukrainian forces on the last weeks. But there is a critical situation for Ukraine. It is energy production. No civilized country, no industrial country can survive without energy, without electricity. When you lost 2/3 of your production capacity, you are on the brink. So we have to reinforce our capacity to supply capacities, both to replace what has been destroyed and to avoid this to be destroyed the following day. More air defense capacity and more capacity to allow the Ukrainians to attack the Russians from where the Russians are attacking them. From where they are attacking them. Otherwise they will do it with full impunity. At the same time there is a peace process, so there is a will to end the war. And we are supporting the process started by Ukraine to achieve a just and lasting peace, a real peace. This is the only viable way forward. This will be our coordinated message here in the United Nations this week, when we will meet our partners around the world. We will meet a lot of people around the world today, here, tomorrow, next week, this week. And we want to support the peace process started with the Summit of Peace in Switzerland this June. 110 countries and organizations participate in this process. We look forward to the presentation by President Zelensky of his victory plan, a different thing. Ukraine has to improve the military situation in order to go to the peace negotiations in a good way, in a position of strength. So victory plan is about how to conduct the war. Peace plan is about how to get peace. And one thing is strongly related with the other. We see other peace proposals emerging. And I want to be clear. Any viable way forward has to be based on United Nations Charter respect. And these include Ukraine's sovereignty, independence, territorial integrity, and the right to self-defense. There is a United Nations General Assembly resolution, February 2023, not so far away, with 141 votes in favor, and this should guide the peace efforts. And this resolution, allow me to remind it, call on Russia to completely and unconditionally withdraw from Ukraine following a cessation of hostilities. This remain a just and lasting peace basis. The Minister debriefed us on Ukraine's efforts to advance on the European Union on this path while defending itself from Russian aggression, and I welcome and I can only encourage this approach because remember, Ukraine is a candidate to become member of the European Union. And I'm mentioning it because in a few weeks, before the end of my term, I will present my colleagues in the Commission, together with my colleagues in the Commission, the next enlargement report, where we will take stock of the progress achieved by our candidates, and in particular by Ukraine. Ukraine is fighting in several fronts at the same time, doing the reforms required to be a member of the European Union, and fighting in the battlefield, and fighting in the rearguard, trying to make their civilian population to survive, to be protected from the attacks, and to have the economic and financial capacity to fulfill all the commitments of one state. And our military support to Ukraine has reached 46 billion euros with the last figures, which is certainly an important amount. And together with our economic, financial, humanitarian support, it's more than anyone else in the world, and overpassing the 100 billion euros.